What's the Pope up to? The Pope is coming here. Did you know that? Washington, D.C. on September 23rd, 2015. For the very first time in history of the United States, Pope Francis I will be taking a visit to America, and he'll be in Washington on the 24th addressing a joint session of Congress. That has never, ever happened before. Does it mean anything? I have no idea. I'm just showing you some very incredible things that are coming together on the same few days. Speak of our friend Pope Francis, he's the 266th Pope that has ever existed. He arrives in the United States on the 266th day of the year. And interestingly enough, there are 266 days from conception until birth. The day of the Lord, according to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction will come upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. This is just one of many scriptures regarding the day of the Lord is like a woman in labor. Any connection may be a big stretch. I have no idea. I'm just letting you know. Interesting things. Could be a very big coincidence. But let's talk about climate change, because climate change is something that is a very hot topic in politics today, and it's moved its way just out of Al Gore, who invented the internet and climate chaos, into the rest of the American people. We are now swallowing this climate change that they keep changing the names for. But let's talk about it for just a moment. According to the French foreign minister with Secretary of State John Kerry right beside him on May 13th, 2014, he said, we have 500 days to avoid climate chaos. You can watch the video. 500 days to climate chaos. Now, my question would be, why wouldn't he have just said in about a year and a half, we need to come up with some things? And why did he say 500 days? Normally, when you're a corporate society, or you're a country, or you are in business, numbers matter. So when someone says, 423 days to this, it's the reason why there's 423 days. He makes it very clear, and he says it more than once, 500 days to climate chaos. Now, that's a cryptic statement. Would you agree? What does that mean? Climate chaos? That's a pretty strong word coming from someone who is completely in an atmosphere of climate change people, addressing a political audience about something that's going to happen in a year and a half. May 13th, 2014 plus 500 days equals September 24th, 2015. So why are all these things happening at the end of September, between the 21st and the 24th, with a highlight on the 23rd and the 24th? That's the answer I want to have. Once again, this could be a completely huge coincidence. Maybe these representatives of two different countries really were just talking about a climate meeting, but chose to call it climate chaos. Maybe instead of saying it would be a year and a half in the future, they thought 500 days would be better. It's totally possible and plausible that it's completely just a coincidence. Now we have President Obama, May 20th, 2015, he says this: climate change will impact every country on the planet. No nation is immune. Climate change constitutes a serious threat to global security. What does global security have anything to do with whether or not you have to wear one less layer of clothing if it gets hot outside? I have no idea. An immediate risk to our national security, and make no mistake, he says, it will impact how our military defends our country, and we need to act now. To me, these are very cryptic statements. Why is the President of the United States saying that not only is every country not immune, but this is a global security issue, so much so it will affect the way our military operates? Can someone explain what on earth our military has anything to do with whether or not whales go a little bit further north or not? I don't know. Maybe I have a lot of missing information, and I will absolutely concede to that. I'm an expert at nothing. But what I can tell you is this: it seems strange that our president is connecting global warming to a military strategy. And we're already seeing the change in military structure. This is the logo for Jade Helm. How many have heard of Jade Helm? Jade Helm is a military training exercise that's happening in 9 states in the Southwest, with Texas being the largest state that they are doing these military operations in. It begins on July 15th, 2015. And in these military exercises, which contain thousands of military operations and soldiers with tanks taking over, I think we're up to 6 Walmarts that have been taken over, completely locked down because of plumbing problems. And in the process, they are doing these practice missions. They say that they're doing these missions because the atmosphere is similar than it is overseas. And that could absolutely be the truth, that they're doing these. The governor of Texas was so suspicious of the own federal government, he didn't know what was going on and was looking into it with Congress himself. So if the governor of Texas is a little bit nervous about why are all these military coming, he even made the statement that it just so interestingly is coincident that they're surrounding all of these towns that are highly filled with Republicans and conservatives and gun-loving owners. I don't know. Is it a conspiracy? Is the government setting up for something that they know that's going to happen? Because the interesting thing is the Jade Helm exercise begins on July 15th, but guess when it ends? September 15th, which is the Feast of Trumpets, Rosh Hashanah. Beginning of a new year. Is it ending just in time for climate chaos? I don't know. Is there something that's about to happen that the government knows about that's going to happen in the southern part of the southwestern part of the United States, that it wants an extra tens of thousands of soldiers there with FEMA camps all over the place? I don't know. But it's interesting to say the least. Again, maybe it's just a coincidence. Maybe it's just a very elaborate training drill for overseas terrorists and just happens to coincide with Obama's wanting to change the military tactics due to a dangerous climate change that apparently is supposed to happen 500 days from when it was stated. Let's look into the media. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but you can spend hours and hours online looking at so many things that happen in the media, especially in movies that give these subliminal messages all over the place. I used to not believe in this because you guys know me, I don't do conspiracy stuff very often. If this probably is the first time ever I have done anything like this. I'm a very down-to-earth, prove it to me, I live in the show-me state, engineer, left-brain, firstborn mindset. So I don't go into these areas very lightly. So talking about subliminal messages in movies is something that is like, okay, that's an almost double tin hat.
It's September 22nd, and we're all still here. Awkward!
People, the flood is imminent!
Until September 22nd, midday. And if the ark isn't finished by then, you will be.
Is that when it's going to happen? September 22nd, midday?
Day of the month of September, in an early year of a decade not too long before our own, the human race suddenly encountered a deadly threat to its very existence.
September 14th.
9/14. 14 plus 9 is?
23.
The island. When did you come here? Hello. 60s. What was the date? What was the date? September 22nd. It was September 22nd.
But after you spend a lot of time looking at movies before 9/11, of all of these movies, television shows, and even cartoon figures that have the Twin Towers falling with 9/11 right there in the same picture, you begin to pay the pattern to go, huh, that's really interesting.